Oh, we have to do this in beat in time.
You know, every single person I've had in here has made that joke. You know, every single one has gone, wow, there's a click track. I guess we're going to have to do this on time. Or what tempo is this podcast at? And I'm fucking sick of it.
It's always 120.
I'm fucking sick of it. It's 120 beats per minute. And I'm sick of all this bullshit. It's like, yeah, there's a count in, all right? I hit the record button. I can't do anything. I mean, I could turn it off, I guess.
I'm sorry.
But I would forget.
I feel like I triggered something.
Yeah, it was just like, I'm just like, why is that the go-to joke, you know?
Because it's too easy.
This is just an Aridonis
Just turn the
podcast.
counting
It's
off.
just an Aridonis podcast. Welcome. Thanks. Here with Royal Oak.
Yeah.
Hello.
I got a new set. It looks pretty cool.
I think it looks great.
Yeah, no, we did really well. And then
I concur. Looks great.
the lighting is kind of like,
Oh.
yeah.
You had that way.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No, it's good. You see it. It's fine.
Okay,
From the
my
angle.
head's
Yeah.
good. Look.
Yeah, well, you're good.
Okay.
And then the what you can't see though is the kind of cute paintings of the possum talking to the raccoon. And then what's cool about these walls is they're actually chalk walls, so we can draw on the walls with chalk.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's right there. It's under the St. Vincent.
Hold on. I need all my items.
Yeah, yeah.
what?
Under the St. Vincent in that pot.
Wow. The attention span on this guy, eh?
Yeah.
Nice oval. What's he gonna draw? We gotta narrate it. Is that? Oh my God, no.
A poop?
No.
A pink poop?
Come on.
Yeah.
That's a poop.
It's the best thing I can do.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of dark, but yeah, that's a poop. Yeah.
Wow.
Stink lines.
Off to a riveting start.
All right.
Very nice,
Well,
Grayson.
I'm glad I got Royal Oak today for the for just an Aridonis podcast in the new set.
Oh, yeah.
I got Miles and Brayson. Introduce yourselves or something.
I'm Miles.
And I'm Brayson, except flip those around. I'm actually Miles, and that's Brayson, and we are 50% of Royal Oak. We are the rhythm section.
section.
We're the beating heart.
Yeah. Speaking
Royal
of rhythm
Oak.
section, sorry, this is a completely random thing, but do you live so close to Trent?
Trent
Otter.
Otter. Oh yeah. Oh
You're
yeah.
like 2 blocks from the bungalow.
Huh.
The tightest rhythm section in
Tightest,
town.
tightest
Yeah.
rhythm section in town. I've heard.
There you
Or
go.
that's how they marketed themselves, which is really smart considering who is going to actually read their Instagram bio
Yeah, and
and
it's gonna be
and
me.
hire them. It's going to
Yeah.
be the other people in rhythm
Yeah.
sections are going to read it, you know, and then they're going to or people that are singers and they're going to be like, "Oh, that's them. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's easy. That's an easy decision."
Yeah.
If I want a tight rhythm section. That's just like brilliant marketing. Just say what you are.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
Just say what you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's us. It's 50% of us. We're the drums player,
With the drums.
Drums player.
the drummer, and the bassist. And yeah, me and Brayson actually have been playing together since we were like 8 years old. So I
Yeah.
feel like it's fitting that it's
Yeah.
this
We are
pairing
the OG crew.
that's
Right.
on here, all the way back to playing "Welcome to the Black Parade" in my
And-
bedroom.
And Jesus is Suburbia.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember Jesus Suburbia. I spent a long time on that drum solo.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Trey Cool's it's like Trey Cool's best
Cool.
moment, I think.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if it's like that, and then it's like, you know, that was the only time where I was like, oh wow, this drummer's really expressing himself.
Yes.
You know, and other than that, it's just kind of like Mad Libs drums. You know?
But I mean, he's serving the music though. He's serving the music he's playing for.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's right on like brand all the time, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, Jesus Suburbia was the time where it was just like, oh wow, because they did those other records like years later. Like I feel like we're of the age group where American Idiot came out, and we were all like, all right, cool. He's wearing like a red tie and all black, and you know, wow, you know, what a look. And then and then they had the songs, and at the time, like George Bush was president, and there was a lot of, you know, especially living in Canada, you just hear people talk about, man, that George Bush sure is an idiot, and then American Idiot comes out, you're like, wow, this must be a very politically charged album.
Yes.
Even though I'm 12 years old and don't really understand.
Yeah.
But you're just like, this must be such a rebellious album that I got at Walmart.
Yeah.
On CD.
Which is why everyone went so apeshit over it, I think.
Exactly. It was a very big cultural moment. I remember, at least, for a little while. And then that was like right around the time I was learning guitar, so it was the first learning those songs. And then same thing, I just picked up drums and guitar at the same time, so that was like a similar sort of experience. But yeah, and then I forgot where I was going with that. And then but then right after that, that's kind of when Green Day just became kind of a dad rock joke,
In a way, although I feel like Uno Dos
Maybe-
Tres, there were some bangers on those three albums.
Yeah, they have
I
some
couldn't
good
tell you.
stuff. Well,
Yeah,
there you
I
go.
couldn't tell you.
I think it was the downfall was the immediate album after it was 21st Century.
Oh yeah, that was
That
the
was
one
like
they tried
5
to
years
make-
later, though.
They tried to make like
Yeah,
a
it was 5
musical
years
though, right?
They
Yes.
did. They did a musical with American Idiot.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. Yeah. No. I was thinking there was something else that came along with that record after.
Bullet
American
and a
Idiot.
Bible.
Bullet and a Bible was the live album.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love watching that. I
Yeah.
watch that over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
I
that.
never actually seen it.
It's good.
Yeah.
Watch it.
I watched it one time. I got the DVD CD combo, and I watched the
Yes.
DVD once. Live DVDs were a strange, short-lived little blink of the eye in history.
I
Very
cherish
true.
them.
Yeah.
It's like, I guess the 2000s, that's about it.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
setting up an in-ear rig for I always fuck up his last name, Ryan Van Poederen.
Poderoyan.
Yeah, RVP. Yeah, he was talking about some tour he did with the Devin Townsend project, and he was talking about how they had like this. It was always like a really big deal because they were the first ones to kind of grasp the in-ears and click and all that stuff, and it was like, yeah, it made it really easy whenever we went to go do a live DVD, and I was just like he's not that much older than me. He's like, and I was just like, because they were a big enough band that they went and recorded live DVDs and sold DVDs of their shows.
But the way you phrased that was that they just did multiple.
Yeah.
So whenever we wanted to do a DVD.
Yeah. Well, they're like a big, especially in
They're
Europe,
big,
right?
yeah.
So they did a lot. Yeah, the Devin Townsend project isn't a thing anymore, I don't think. But Devin Townsend is still a thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just thinking about how it's like, yeah, they made DVDs of their shows
Yeah.
for some reason,
I mean, not for some reason. It was
Yeah.
how we consumed video back in those
That-
days.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was pre-YouTube, because normally if I wanted to see a live version of a show, I would go straight to
Yep.
YouTube.
Yeah.
But
Not straight to your nearest Rogers video.
yeah, not to my I wouldn't be jogging down to Blockbuster. I wonder if we'll ever be nostalgic for DVDs.
I think so.
I think so as well. There's a
There's a
like
VHS renaissance happening right now.
I mean,
There is,
VHS
yeah.
renaissance.
Yes.
See, but
I'm buying VHSs.
but you gotta like rewind VHSs and all that.
What's your
Like,
problem,
he's not
Miles?
there
Yeah.
See,
What do you mean?
You didn't even get into vinyl either.
Yeah.
I mean, but I understand vinyl.
But you
though.
gotta wind vinyl. You gotta spin it.
But yeah, the thing is, I would have been into vinyl, but my mom got rid of the fucking record player. You know how angry I was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and we
then they
had
stopped
a
making them forever.
box
I forgot
of
about that.
records, and I remember I would play. What was it? Oh, Mama Let Him Play Doucette on vinyl, and I remember I was just like, this rips. And then one
it did
day,
rip.
there was no record player, and there was no records. And I was like, whatever happened to that record player? She's like, oh, we got rid of it years ago. I was like,
Yeah, when my grandma got rid of her system, I just took it, and then I watched some YouTube video that scared me into stopping buying records or consuming them. First of all, just the environmental impact of records.
Oh.
Period is
that a
huge.
thing?
I would
Are
imagine.
you kidding? Yeah, so
plastic,
it's a
like-
plastic
Oh, yeah, no,
disc
you're right, you're
in a
right.
cardboard sleeve
Yeah.
that's then wrapped in worse plastic.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
and then probably pressed somewhere either in the States or in China and then shipped around, and just all of that aside, there's actually no regulation on the type of PVC that they use for records, and so they're just off-gassing chemicals that are just toxic to your brain.
Really?
And so yeah, like if you got them all like in the sleeves, it's one thing, but like it's the Ben Jordan is the YouTuber who did a video on it. I highly recommend his YouTube channel. He's like making music videos directly for music nerds, but also just normal science nerds as well.
Okay,
and he
cool.
had this like air filter sensor smeller thing that would just sniff the air and tell you how toxic the air is. and he would just he went to like home, like Best Buy or whatever, and came back with a brand new Audio Technica turntable and took it out of the box and set it up. It's like, air's clean. And then he takes a brand new record that's like unopened and he just cracks the seal in the plastic, and it's just like, okay, there's some toxic shit in the air now.
Wow.
And then he takes the record out, and it's like, there's a lot of toxic shit right now.
Wow.
Puts it on the record player and starts spinning it, so the stylus is now scraping against the vinyl
yeah,
itself, and it's like dangerous levels if you're here for like long enough. If you're standing like in breathing distance of it, and then when he goes to the other side of the room, it's clean, and it was just like, yeah, it was. I mean, maybe it was a little bit overblown, but it was just like, but the reality is like, so you use like PVC pipe to build like plumbing and whatever, but that's very highly regulated and very tightly restricted for whatever reason. But it was that, and then I was just like, so now I keep my records in like another part of the house.
Smart.
Because I've had I've had enough cancer in my life. But so it was that, and then the environmental impact. I was just kind of like, yeah, records don't really do it for me. I'm sure VHS is the same sort of thing, but yeah, one of my roommates got into VHS, and it hasn't like got to collector levels because VHS is just kind of a way more garbagey format. The difference with vinyl is if you recorded a record to analog, like to tape, and then got it pressed to vinyl on like a nice thick grade, and then listened to it on a really nice system, it is electrically the closest you can be to having the people play in the room to
absolutely.
It, right? That's like because it's pretty much like directly recording the motion of the needle and with the tape and blah blah blah. There's all the science reasons.
Do you think that
VHS is way worse?
Do you think that's why people like vinyl, because it feels?
That's the original intention behind it, but then once you're recording, like I'm recording in Ableton right now, and then if I just go and press that into vinyl, you're listening to an analog representation of the ones and zeros that are recorded onto my hard drive. If I were recording this to like 3-inch tape, and then playing it back through vinyl, like that's a bit of a different experience. I think Jack White he was talking about it because he's obviously like an evangelist for that. He runs like his own label and has his own pressing plant and stuff. But his thing is like, and it is an accurate representation of how it works. If you take a pencil and a piece of paper and you just do a million little dots to form a line, then it's a line when you're looking at it. But when you look under a microscope, you're going to see all the little dots, right? Recording analog and pressing it on vinyl is just taking the pencil and drawing a line, right? Like that's kind of the difference, because when you're recording to digital, it's like taking 44,000 chunks of audio per second and then just playing them back in order, right? Your brain can't really hear too much of a difference, but when you listen to one and then the other of the same performance back to back, you get it. But,
For sure.
That's interesting. I also think that like part of the other thing about vinyl is just like having it. First of all, and then displaying it in your house.
It lights up like a nice little consumerist part of your brain.
It does.
In a really nice way.
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever considered as an independent artist? Because I know we have, where it's like you press your own. But prior to what you found out about it, have you ever considered pressing vinyl?
I didn't even like the original intention for me before all of this, and just thinking about try to be a more conscious sort of consumer of plastic and stuff like that. Before any of that, my thought process is, well, I'm not a real musician until I have I'm holding a 12-inch disc with my music on it. Like that's kind of an idea that we're sold, know, and that's 100%. Kind of a mindset that we've been sold, is it's not real until you've got the big thing, square in your hand, and you're like, that's like, and so first things first is like unlearning that mindset for me of being like, okay, maybe it's real because I made it, not because I'm holding a plastic skinny disc, you know?
Definitely. We had our first ever, when we were called the Reprise, when it was just me, Brayson, and Austin. So it's me and Brayson are here. We're missing our guitar player Mike and our lead singer Austin. So we had a trio called the Reprise, and I remember Luke
Ironic.
It is ironic. It is ironic, but he got us. He printed us our EP, the Reprise EP on a. It was like it wasn't it clear. It was a clear vinyl. Who has that?
He has it.
Yeah, gifted it to us, and he had. Honestly, pretty smart because but that would look sick in the jam space though. But now I'm not so sure with all these toxins. Well, but also it was clear. Maybe it's not as bad.
That's what I was gonna bring up. Like, is there a way to make clean vinyl? I'm sure there is.
I'm sure
idea.
if scientists thought about it for 5 seconds, they would do it.
Right.
But the thing is there's no incentive right now because there's no regulation.
Right.
So, you know, it's if somebody and it might not even be that it's that big of a deal, but in terms of like environmental restriction, like I can't remember who it was. Oh, there was an artist I was reading about recently where their record release was just in terms of environmental things. They were going to buy like credits or whatever. What's it called when you offsets? Yeah, carbon offsets.
Yeah.
So it's just basically when for every record sold, they were going to buy like it was going to be like a $25 record. They were going to buy $5 in carbon offsets, which is basically they're going to take $5 and invest it in a company that's going to like plant trees or something, right?
Interesting.
But the problem with stuff like carbon offsets is you can't really guarantee that the $5 that you're just throwing into some company isn't going to just go into some, you know, investment firm or whatever, you know.
Or pay, like, because a lot of that would go into paying, like, salaries of those companies.
Exactly,
all the overhead and stuff. So it's like, are you actually...
Yeah. Why don't I just take my whole $25 and keep it? You know, and listen,
and then plant a tree myself.
I could plant a tree and listen to Spotify for 2.5 months. You know,
that's true.
You know,
curious though, if there was a way to make vinyl.
Shit,
you're losing you're losing everything.
Yeah, I'm fine.
If there was a way to make vinyl carbon neutral.
Yeah.
Would you?
Hell yeah! I love the idea of vinyl. I'm not anti-vinyl.
Clean plastic.
Yeah, but the plastic's dirty. Yeah.
Sure.
And
clean plastic.
clean plastic first of all.
Recycled plastic. Imagine if you could make it out of recycled clean plastic.
Exactly it. And then with the sleeve.
Yeah.
Cardboard, because cardboard's recyclable.
Yeah, cardboard's fine. Yeah.
Just like
they don't have to cellophane it on the way out the door.
Yeah.
Which they do on a brand new record.
A serrated end, so that you can just rip off the end, toss it away, and then you have your vinyl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That'd be fine.
You're onto something.
That'd be fine. Or they could make it out of like bioplastic or something that they grow from algae. You know, I know that they kind of stopped investment and stuff like that. You know, like 10 years ago because it wasn't really worth it. But I mean, fucking whatever.
To scientists listening.
Yeah, scientists could crack that one in like 5 minutes, I'm sure. But it's like it's part of an industry, and it's like the music industry, for as much money as it's worth, isn't worth that much money compared to movies, which are distributed entirely digitally, or cars, exactly. Like any of these other, or like international logistics, all of the things that do so much more damage to the environment. You know.
Yep. Good old vinyl.
It's interesting though, because I think music is just such an important part of lifestyle.
Of course.
Look
at us.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. But like, it feels
Look at how important we are.
I know, right? But here's the thing. It feels so passive in the sense of something that people consume. Like, it's so...
Yeah.
Everyone loves music.
Yes.
Everyone has their favorite artists.
Yeah.
Everyone goes to shows, whatever. But, like, no one actually cares about the artists.
Yeah, the 100 hours that came up to the 3-minute song they listened to. Yeah, I was talking to a dude on the podcast that I've... What's cool about the podcast now is enough people have started like cold calling me and showing up. I met this dude Kuma, who has a radio show on Co-op Radio, and he was talking about the Japanese tea ceremony, and how much importance they put on the really mundane thing of just drinking tea, and how they put so much work into it, because it's like it's not about the thing, it's about respecting the thing, you know, and music is kind of, you know, it's almost the opposite of that. It's like you don't ever just sit and listen to music, really. You do it while you're doing something. Like I'm gonna put music on while I make dinner, while I go for a run, you know.
While I'm driving, while I'm drinking.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
at the same time.
Yeah, it's safety first. It's well, I know we both watch Jesse Cannon. Yes, and he's like he talks about music as a mood-altering drug, you know,
which I think
it's something you take to enhance an experience,
100%.
right? There's something to the normies, you know, like for us, you know, it's a little bit different. Like I do try to set time aside where I just sit and listen to music, usually before I'm going to bed, just to like unwind or whatever, and I don't have anything else left to do, and I don't feel like guilt of just listening to music, which you shouldn't have.
Yeah, that's also true.
But it's a much more rewarding experience when you can just kind of close your eyes and think about it. Because I used to do that when I was a kid all the time. Lay on my bed and listen to American Idiot.
Definitely lost that. I mean, we just get so busy. Because like to actually sit down and do something like that, I feel like also our attention spans have just gotten shorter with technology.
But it's
and
like
shit as well.
I can make my attention work to watch. I just watched all of Gilmore Girls with my girlfriend in like 2 weeks. You know, that would we'd put a full-time job's amount of labor into watching all of Gilmore Girls.
But then again, that's two senses you're triggering, right? You're seeing and you're listening,
which is interesting because sound would be enough. Like if I could watch a silent movie for 6 hours.
It's true.
Could you?
I think so.
I don't think I couldn't.
No, I couldn't. I just said it's true, but no, I couldn't.
Yeah. I feel like, but I mean, for whatever reason, we put our sight, I think, above sound, even though that's not how it is.
I mean, it's a classic "Would you rather be blind or deaf" question, right? I mean,
I feel like I'd rather be blind. I don't know.
It's so hard because as a musician, like
exactly. If I wasn't a musician, I'd rather be deaf.
I think so as well.
Yeah. I do find it's way easier for me to get sensory overload from too much sound than too much sight.
100%.
I can't see too much, you know, but I can hear too much, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
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 I feel like I've ranted on this podcast like 5 times now about how fucking grocery stores are so loud for no reason.
Yeah.
Right? Like, when you go into a superstore, why are the ceilings 40 feet high?
Yeah. It's a good.
Why?
I mean, some grocery stores are lower, but like you're right, like a superstore or I mean, Costco you have to because warehouse. So Costco,
sure.
You're off the hook.
But when you're on like the floor, they could still have like a drop ceiling or something, or some acoustic treatment. You know?
Yeah.
No,
like
you're right.
I really genuinely think it would be cool if we had legislation to try and just make everyday tasks not a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Right? Like so, like putting acoustic treatment up in bars. Right? Just because, like, Portside, have you ever tried to have a conversation in Portside, regardless of playing music there or whatever, any of those things? It's impossible.
Loud.
Yeah, it's so loud. And I get that they want it to be loud so that you talk louder, so that you're thirstier, so that you drink more, right? Like, that's the loop.
Reaction,
But that's, like, don't do that. You know?
I don't go to places.
I don't go to bars unless I'm playing there or working there. Anybody who's ever invited me out to a bar has been denied.
Denied.
Unless I have a financial reason to be there and playing a show, and in which I wear earplugs.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, that is the most musician thing ever. It's just like the we go to so many bars and pubs that it just becomes a nuisance.
That I've never given any money to. I've been to probably more bars than a lot of my friends that drink a lot, you know?
Yeah.
And I've spent more time at bars, but have given maybe, I don't know, like total, like $300 to a bar in my whole, like, drinking career.
I mean, it depends, though, because you say it's a musician thing. I don't know. I bet you, I would argue there's more musicians that
people with like
do go-
autism or
Wild.
or anything.
Do go to bar and pay for that stuff, you know? Like,
Oh,
You
I was
guys
talking.
are on two different
Yeah,
things.
We are.
I was talking
Yes,
about.
yes.
I was talking about sensory overload.
oh, sensory overload. I was
Yeah.
talking about what you said about
Yeah.
being in a bar, and
Yeah.
since you work there, you don't go there.
Yeah,
to-
Right.
I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of musicians that do go anyways, whether it's
That's
to watch
true.
other
Maybe.
shows,
That's
whether it's
true.
to have a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in an industry of like, we're in a party
Yeah.
industry.
I feel
That's
so
true.
bad when I go to a show for my friends and I just get water, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
and then I
And you
leave
don't
as soon
party.
as it's done, I mean,
I mean,
get credit for going.
it's about supporting the act, right?
For
and
sure.
then I guess what comes with that might be helping out, depending on what the venue is, I guess.
Yeah.
If it's like a smaller venue, or
Yeah.
if you really like the venue or whatever. But I understand what you said. Sometimes you just don't want to drink.
Yeah, I don't want to.
you don't have to.
I don't.
No,
wanna
of course
drink,
not.
I don't want to. Yeah,
Just
it's like,
go enjoy music.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, but that's not the culture necessarily.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
that's not what's built into the culture. The culture is just like, here's music and alcohol.
Yeah,
You
they
know.
go hand
Yeah.
in hand.
Yeah, it's very.
Yeah, dry events are weird.
Yeah, dry, and
They
that's
are-
the other
they are
thing. is,
weird.
yeah, if I go to a dry event, it's like, yeah, now it's this works. This works the same for me, but I can see everybody else is uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very strange that the world is how it is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I mean, yeah, the whole drive event thing. I mean, it doesn't really happen that often. I mean, it happens more often in Vancouver, I would
yeah.
say, because we have no venues.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
true. It's
yeah.
true.
We're
But,
gonna
like-
have to do this show at this rented out church, like
Yeah.
or whatever,
Yeah.
just because it's the only place that would let us be there for less than $2,000.
Yeah.
You know.
I know.
Yeah. Imagine if we had, because when we were in Toronto for Canadian Music Week,
Yeah.
and it was just like, how many different venues we go to? We probably went to like five or six or seven, and that was
At
like
least.
at
At least,
least. And it was just like every venue was
All within a
cool.
few blocks of each other.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like, oh, you pop in here, check this out, pop in this. Oh, this one has a cool vibe. This one has a cool vibe. We just
That's the way it needs to be here.
It does. It does need to be here that way here. But like, I don't even know what. I think it's just the nightlife in general in Vancouver. There isn't really. It's not. There's nothing really. I feel like it's just like, oh, you have Granville Street, and then that's just known for like
And it's-
police presence and
Yeah.
fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Granville Street feels like, it feels like going to like, I don't know, it feels painted on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
artificial, whatever vibe exists on Granville Street.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't feel like, it feels like that's where tourists are. It doesn't feel like I see those people on like as extras in my life.
Yeah.
You know,
Imagine having like more venues in Gastown. I feel like that'd be pretty
that'd be cool. Yeah, well, it's like, but Gastown isn't like it doesn't have like a SkyTrain station that's like in Gastown.
I mean, there's waterfront,
Yeah, there's
water-
waterfront,
but like,
which is nice. Yeah,
pretty
it's not-
damn
Yeah, it's
close.
pretty,
Pretty
close. That's
close.
true. Yeah, but I feel like there's what's stopping Vancouver from being like Toronto. Like when you go to downtown Toronto, the big difference is a lot of the housing and everything is all very dense. So there's a lot of
Yes.
people actually down there.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, that's true.
Vancouver is a very like what's the word I'm looking for? Like there's a lot. Everybody lives outside of it, suburban. It's
Yeah.
it's a lot of people feed into Vancouver.
Yes, yeah.
So it's not
So
the
it becomes
same.
a chore to get to Vancouver.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna go downtown for an event, I'm like booking a hotel because I'm gonna go and party all night.
Yeah.
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 Or are you? And then the buses are over at this time, and the SkyTrains are done at this time, and yeah, there's all of these prohibitive things.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
maybe one thing is that there's just not, like, nobody's seeing the demand for it. I mean, if venues are only closing,
Yeah.
like, why wouldn't they be staying open? I just feel like there isn't that, like, people aren't willing to go to shows a lot of the time because of the reason you're saying.
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to travel
It's,
in
it's
or
the
whatever.
travel. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as far as going
same.
to shows. Like, I have to drive half an hour to get.
And you got to pay for parking.
And
Yeah.
And you got to pay for parking. And not every parking lot is built equal either. Like
Yeah.
there's a parking lot around the corner from the Railway Club. I was playing drums for Emmeline recently, and I parked my car for sound check at 7 p.m. Went in, like, paid for 2 hours, thinking like, okay, well, this is the only lot that I can get a spot in right now, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna pay for 2 hours. go and do my sound check, move my drums and everything. Yeah. And I was bringing my own kit for this show because I was playing. It was Victoria Groff and Emlyn, so I was playing drums for both sets. So I'm like, I'm not using the Railway House kit. I'm bringing my own drums for that. And did the sound check, came back out, and then they were locked. They locked the lot at 8 p.m.
Oh, yes. And that's right by the number 5, right?
Yeah, around there, yeah. But it was there's a few like that, though. Yeah. But they're just like, gates locked, 8 p.m., and I came back at 9, and I'm like, okay. All right, well, I've got a drum set with me. It's not like I'm taking the bus home, right? So I call the number, and I'm like, because sometimes they'll like send a dude out, and it's like $100 fee, and they'll open it up and let you get your car out. And then they're like, so the number I call goes to a call center in Toronto. and they're just like, yeah, we've got lots all over Canada. Let me check. Let me check your situation here. And then she's like, oh yeah, we don't actually have security dispatch in Vancouver at all. So we'll give you an hour of courtesy parking when we open tomorrow. And I'm like, well, what time do you open tomorrow? And like 6 a.m. So I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning and take the train over to downtown.
So what did you do with your drums?
Huh? Luckily a friend of mine came to the show with an SUV, and he drove me home that night. But but I was just like, dude, like, why is this like you've just landlorded me, you know?
I have the code to that lot. In the future.
Yeah,
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Wait, the code to get into it?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. If it's the one, I feel like we might be talking about different lots, but yeah, whatever. But that's what I mean. It's every single lot. It's not like they're all owned by the same company. They've all got different rules. And now I'm super like sketched about like I no longer, when somebody sends me like the venue information, I no longer even look at the venue. I just look at the parking. I look at the lots around it, and then I go and I Google that lot number to see, and then I go to like Street View it and see if they've got like a gate that comes down. Like,
you've really thought this out.
I do friggin' thorough. Like I build a dossier on the parking lot I'm gonna drive to, and I punch that into my GPS, because normally it's like, okay, yeah, we're playing like I was just doing something at the Polygon Art Gallery in North Van, and they send me the info, and I look it up. It's just right by Shipyards, but I go and I'm like, okay, I punch in Polygon, and I'm like, all right, now I know where it is, and then I zoom out, and then I'm like, this is where I'm actually going. It's this parking lot, because that's not where I'm not driving to this art gallery. I'm actually driving to a parking lot, so I'm gonna research that first, and that's my
smart.
That's my pro tip to anybody who's working in entertainment of any kind: is don't look at the venue, don't look at where the house you're going to. Look at the street. What are the lot like? What's the parking like?
Well, I mean, like, I usually just like go to the venue and hope that I can just like leave my car there.
Yeah,
that's what I usually do.
I'd
too.
take
If they're like, no, I'm like,
I was like, all right, going to go find parking.
Yeah, but no, I was like I did Hotel Vancouver recently, and it was I was doing like 3 gigs in one day kind of thing, and it was like, all right, I have to, and then every gig gets delayed by an hour, and it's like my last gig, and that is Hotel Vancouver. I'm like, I'm gonna have to pay the hotel for parking, and overnight parking, because I was gonna be there till 4 a.m, is it's like $45.
Yep.
There's Vancouver.
Like, yeah, I'm like, and so yes, I totally get why nobody wants to come downtown and see a show. This is
So we need what we need is because there's no venues in the burbs really. Is there? Like, is there? I mean, you have a rec room, but like, do they even have shows there? Like, I know
they tried. They try. That's a room that's way too freaking loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been to Rec Room?
I haven't.
Yeah. No. It's that place. It's again really high ceilings, and they're just blasting music, and it's like basically like a bar, but it's an arcade.
Kind of sounds like Colony.
It's
a little bit.
So loud
like
in there. Yeah, it is so loud. And so I'm like, if there was a show going on, Ringfinger did a show there, and Mason said it was like this little like tiny little area that's behind the bar that's got like a curtain and it's like they didn't even turn off the house music while the show was going on.
Really?
So like some soccer bro that was just like watching the soccer game at the bar, like sort of sauntered behind the curtain with a beer going like, what's this weird noise? And there's just like this goth post-rock band playing a show behind there.
Oh my goodness.
And he's like, oh, there's something happening here, and like shuts the but it was yeah, so there's that.
So no venues.
So
in
no
the
venues
burbs.
in the burbs.
No
yeah,
venues
I
in
mean,
the
thing
burbs.
with
there's bars.
There's bars, but like the thing with venues in the burbs that the only people who are gonna open a venue in the burbs are people who love live music. Like,
Yeah.
that's their passion.
Yeah,
They're just
yeah.
gonna open a venue to have live music there.
But you're not going to, because it's a lot of the burbs are not zoned for that, right? So you straight up don't have the, you've got to go against the law because you don't have the building permits to do that. You've got your zone for, single family housing, right?
Yeah.
The best venue, or not the best by any stretch, but the most popular and most often used and probably easiest to work out. The whole music scene in Abbotsford was based around one dude's basement, and that was it. Carport Manor.
The other thing with the venues in the burbs is that there's still only like max 3 SkyTrain stations per burb.
That's per burb.
On a per burb basis here. Yeah.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, it's basically just...
Live in Vancouver or you suck. No, I'm kidding. You don't suck.
I mean, then we suck.
Or fuck you.
All of Royal Oak except Mike sucks.
I was talking to Keely and Nav recently, and Nav is very adamant that Surrey is on the rise.
I think
I think so too.
I would agree.
Well, it is. Yeah. Well, just judging by the sheer population spike, it literally is on the rise. So with that would come
it's the cheapest place to live.
Things,
and then with that brings culture. Essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean what they've done with like Central City and stuff in there by the SFU, where like Wally, where it used to be kind of like not so good, it's quite nice now.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe we'll play shows in Surrey.
Yeah, I
don't know.
Take our business elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It seems like such a I make a very concerted effort to just never cross the river.
Right.
And so I'm
unfair unless you're traveling and stuff.
But that's because I'm just like, why would I go to Surrey? You're like because Surrey I think of as just a suburb.
To be fair, I think like half the population over here is on that side of the river.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, but it's just a way that because I grew up in Mission, and then I moved to Maple Ridge, and then I moved to like. Just other side of Maple Ridge. Yeah, exactly. Like totally other side of the river, and it's just kind of like. And every time I go to Surrey, I'm uncomfortable because I feel like I'm gonna get robbed, and
I have to swim across.
And also I had to pay a toll to get here, right? And then,
toll's gone.
Yeah, toll's gone now, but it was like that's what it was like growing up. It was just like, why would I go to Surrey? But nowadays it seems like maybe that's a solution to a problem.
I live right by the bridge, so I'd be totally happy to go play.
I mean, it's an option. The other thing is how many artists are willing to play there. I guess is the other thing. Because like I don't know, there's this thing with artists where it's like, oh, I'm not gonna play there. There's like some. I mean, some people are like that, right?
If they were to start booking like touring acts, right? Like if there was a venue, like I'm sure there's a sports arena in Surrey, right? And then if suddenly it's just like, yeah, Arkells, they're playing.
They did just play Surrey.
I know they just did for Canada Day. Yeah. No, I know, but I use that example for a reason. It's like Arkells is Canada's band. They are the state chosen band.
They really are.
Yeah, they're the. I have a big problem with Arkells in that sense. I have beef.
You have beef.
Are you willing to spill?
Sure, I'll spill beef on Arkells. I have no problem with Arkells at all. Their music is fine. I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to it.
Yeah.
But because they are the band that plays on the radio, right? Like they are. Ever since Tragically Hip stopped being a thing,
right?
It was okay. Grey Cup, Arkells, right? Like sporting event of any kind. The Junos. Arkells, like they are. It's like CanCon makes it so that we don't have a very big pool of artists to choose from, and a lot. The music industry doesn't want to invest in a ton of big Canadian acts, right? There aren't very many big Canadian acts. Otherwise, they spill over into the States if they get too big, right? And so you end up with Arkells for everything, right?
That's
they are just like they are like.
They're
yes,
them.
sir. Yeah,
That's
like
true.
they're the chosen
and who's
band.
next to the Arkells?
Yeah,
Mother, I guess. At this
sure.
point,
Yeah, but Mother now had enough TikTok success that they've got like down south success now too.
No, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
so
true.
they've kind of spilled over in a more North American band kind of thing.
Yeah,
but
very interesting concept.
It's
like,
it's just kind of it feels like I'm like it feels like Arkells was chosen to be my favorite band by Justin Trudeau, and I hate that.
I feel like that sums it up like pretty perfectly.
I feel like he was going down the list and he was like, Arkells are a great band, and it's like I'm gonna choose them for everything. Like it's like I know he's probably got zero to do with it, but it's just like, but I lump Justin Trudeau and Arkells in the same part. Of my
he looks like he'd be in the band.
Yeah,
to be fair.
exactly. Yeah.
And with his old haircut, not his new one.
Yeah. So anyway, but if Arkells is on tour and they book the I don't know, King George Rec Center. I don't know what the venues are, but and they go there and they just totally snub Rogers Arena, then all of a sudden everybody's like, but is that happening? Like,
so it's hard to say.
You think so?
But you need like more like metropolis type things.
You can't start with Arkells.
No, but what's
you need to
start. The run up?
It starts outside of music, though. It starts outside of music. Like you have to have hubs.
No, you're right.
Like it starts outside of.
You need a cultural hub.
Exactly. It's exactly sports. Yeah. Sports is a big one. Like you think of any place that has a big sports team. Yeah. That's kind of where there's an airport. Airports are another one.
So how close is New Jersey to New York?
Pretty close.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm also have no idea, but I'm trying to think of like two major cities that have like sports teams and like and are like tour stops.
I think it's the equivalent of Vancouver to Chilliwack.
Yeah.
Okay. I would argue Abbotsford actually.
Yeah.
Abbotsford?
Okay.
Because Abbotsford's got the airport as well.
Yeah, they got an international airport. Yeah. Yeah, but does Surrey have an international airport? No. Because why would you? Because it's so close.
Yeah.
Because it's basically like you would have to like totally shift all of the political power from Vancouver and all the cultural power.
The Vancouver airport is in Richmond.
Yeah, but I mean the Edmonton airport is in Leduc. So.
But then also, guys, also.
I'm just saying Richmond is right beside Surrey.
But also, London has 4 airports.
That's true, but that's London.
Yeah,
we're talking about
London's like
internationally
that's like
known London.
Like a 3,000-year-old.
Vancouver's internationally known.
It's
actually
not.
Some people in Europe were like, huh?
Yeah.
To which I was like, huh?
Yeah.
What?
I was growing up. I wasn't sure if Vancouver was like a city or not. You know what I mean? Like one of the big ones. It's just like it's like it's the second best city in Canada, right? Or whatever, depending on who you ask.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a great city. I mean, it's a good city until it comes to, I would say, cultural events and stuff or like in terms of music.
It would be an amazing place to vacation to if I didn't live here full time.
That is fair.
The more of the world I see, the more I appreciate coming home to Vancouver.
Exactly. I mean, because think about it, we got the mountains, we got the lakes, we're right on the coast. Like we have everything you need. It's just sometimes the people don't necessarily match up that way. There's a ton of great people. I'm not like it sounds like I'm very putting a blanket on everybody, but I mean the lack of just nightlife in general, just like live music and other things. I mean, there's good things, and then there's just also good things.
Yeah, like it's very seldom that I go like, what's going on tonight? You know, I'm feeling extroverted. What am I gonna do with this energy? Yeah. And I try to put it somewhere, but there's nowhere to put it.
Yes.
You know, that happens more often than not.
It's true.
I feel that so hard. I was trying to live in Vancouver for so long, and then I did for like 6 months, and then every night I was like, "What's going on tonight?" And then I moved back.
Yeah. No, like I got cheap living here, but that was what happened to me was I moved out here, and then literally I moved here in February of 2020, and then COVID, and I was just like, okay, well I'm gonna wait out this plague, and then I'll see what the nightlife is like now. And now there's stuff going on this summer. Like there's a lot happening this summer, but also I work in the music industry, so I'm just friggin' slammed. I'm not going. Yeah, and even if I got the night off, bro, I'm sleeping.
Yes.
You kidding me? Think I'm gonna pass up sleep.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
No, it's true.
It's a lot of that. Yeah. So anyway, Vancouver, 6 out of 10. Right?
I would give it. I give it an 8. I go 8.
An 8?
8.
I go 8.
You clean up a little bit of the pollution. I'll give you an 8. You know?
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I was just in Alberta, and and it's much cleaner out there in rural Alberta. I should specify.
Well,
but
anywhere rural is gonna be cleaner than a city.
Even rural here. Like I grew up in Mission, and you're looking at just the same smog, but on the other side of it. You know.
Yes.
No, it's cleaner in those provinces,
but they're not as populated.
Of course.
There.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Issue.
Yeah. You go. What I mean is like, there's a lot that we could Vancouver, for as clean of a city as it is, like barely.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. We could implement some European strategies of have more than one fucking train.
No, it's true.
That's true.
European train systems are just like.
Yeah.
But in terms of pollution,
you
go to places like. Yeah, you go to places like Rome and stuff. The pollution's a little.
But it's industrial. You know, it's not 6-lane highway.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's,
or 12-lane highway.
Good point. A lot of bikes over there.
Yeah. No,
a lot of bikes, a lot of mopeds.
You know.
A lot of those rideshare scooters. Dude, those are so fun.
Those are starting to become a thing here.
Dude, honestly, it was the cheapest way to get around to there.
Yeah.
One time we were super drunk one night, and the guy went with Luke. He was like, "Oh, I just gotta try one of these out." Blah blah blah. Then we went on it, and then we rode around. Then we finished. We rode it for probably like a good 45 minutes. He's like, "That was €5." I'm like,
wow.
We're taking these everywhere.
Yeah. I bought an electric bike, and it was amazing. I was like, because I'm doing downtown, I don't want to pay for parking, right?
Yeah.
I've established this.
Yeah.
And so it was after I paid $40 for parking at the hotel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, there's got to be a better way. So I got an e-bike, and then I had it for 10 days, and I got stolen.
Oh no.
Out of my garage. I just left my garage door open for 20 minutes, and it was gone. And it was like a Charger too. Like they just walked in, wheeled it out, and I was just like,
"That's a strike against Vancouver."
Well, Vancouver
is
the well, I think somebody told me this. I've never verified it, but the number one bike theft capital of North America, I think.
Nowhere in Canada can be the number one bike theft. If it's like per capita,
probably because
it would have to.
There are more bikes in Vancouver than there would be in a much more crime-ridden city.
It would have to be based on that ratio, because otherwise we just don't have the population to.
Yeah, definitely in Canada, I would say.
Yeah.
But
bikes.
Yeah, bikes. E-bike though was awesome.
No, they're great.
Bikes.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Sorry for your loss.
Whatever.
It is what it is.
What it is. Yeah. Hopefully it made whoever got its life better.
That's a good attitude.
Is my attitude toward it.
That's true.
And it wasn't like fuck the person that stole my bike. It was fuck the people that make it so that this guy has to steal my shit.
That is also true.
That's my take on that sort of stuff. It's like, yeah, you can be an asshole and steal people's stuff, but it's just like they might be looking at me like, wow, this guy's got everything, a house and a bike, and then I'm gonna take his bike, and I'll be like, I would in his position be like, fair,
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking I would.
Yeah.
Personally, obviously, never steal.
Yeah.
But
I got a car too.
Right.
Yeah. It's like, why would I steal a bike?
If I had to be pushed to a point where I had to steal, I could only imagine.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah.
We don't steal here, for the record.
No, we don't steal.
No.
No, that's a Royal Oak promise.
That is a Royal Oak promise to you. We will not steal
from
anything. We will just play you our pop music.
Yeah.
So speaking of your pop music, what's up with your pop music? You got some pop music coming out? Or out?
We do.
Okay.
You seem exasperated.
Well, I know. That was quite the reaction.
I am exasperated because there was a song that we meant to have out last week. But because the summer just got away from us, we still haven't gotten artwork for it.
Oof.
Right? So we're getting it done this week, hopefully. And then we still have to wait another 8 weeks
because the music industry is a fucking weird thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I wanted it to be out last week so bad. So now we're gonna wait till I guess October.
Yeah.
But we're gonna play it.
Yeah.
At the show.
There's a show.
Yes.
the show that you're also.
I'm playing at the show. Yeah, no, I know. I was feigning surprise at the show.
When is this episode out?
I'm gonna put it out next Wednesday, so it'll be like the 10th.
There's a show in 4 days.
There is a show in 4 days. And if you're listening to this after the show, there was a show on August 13th, and it was great. You missed it. Wow.
You know, it is going to be great, so that is not a lie.
No, it's true. We're
I
playing
don't know
with...
if I like all these promises.
We're playing...
it's going to be a good show.
No, but we're playing with Emmeline and a band called The Free Label that we met in Toronto. The story behind how the show kind of happened is actually pretty funny. So basically... Brayson, help cut me off if I'm getting anything wrong here, because I think I might have some gaps. But we basically went there. We met their manager first, right? And then they were saying that they were touring Canada and they wanted to play Vancouver. And they were like, oh, we've been trying to play the Fox Cabaret on August 13th, but there's a band that's holding it. And they were like, that's us. We're the band that's holding the spot. And then, so basically what happened is we're like, okay, well, we saw these guys play live and we were like,
blown away.
Holy goddamn shit. Like, these guys are amazing.
Yeah.
They used to be a cruise ship band on Richard Branson's cruise ship. They just got flown out to play.
They were virgins?
They just got flown out to play Richard Branson's birthday party while they're in the middle of their tour.
Wow.
And so they got the choreography. So everyone I've been telling, trying to sell on the show, I'm like, yeah, come for us. But like, these guys are amazing.
It's very rare that you actually get that. This is the only time I've ever heard of somebody going to Canada Music Week and coming away with something like tangibly like, I saw this great band and they're playing at my next show.
Yeah.
No, especially in Vancouver. I'm sure the shit like that happens to Toronto musicians that go all the time.
Oh,
but
of course.
every year I see people like getting on the plane. We're going to Canada Music Week, and they're like, oh, I saw shows. I made friends. Blah blah blah. And then they come back and it's like, all right, I've got like probably 15 Instagram followers out of that whole experience.
Yeah, the thing, I mean, when we were there, like, we were very intentional with everything.
Right.
Like, during the day, we would split up, go to different keynotes. Some people would go to the mentors, talk to them. And then at night, we're also very like, okay, who's talking to these guys after they perform? Who's talking to these guys? So we really went in there with a strategy of like, okay, it's not going to be what you're just talking about, getting these 15 Instagram followers. We actually want to make connections with these people, and it paid off. So this Saturday, we're going to be playing some new music. Yeah, some music that's never been heard before. That's probably not coming out for a little bit.
That's not coming out for a while. But I'm so excited.
I'm excited to play. And then our most recent single, End of the Night, will be played.
Yeah.
And our recent singles before that. We got the pipeline. We're basically just like, we got our ammo and we're just waiting.
Right.
We're just being
Locked
very
and
patient.
loaded.
Exactly. And I think that's what you kind of have to do nowadays. Like, we're very much subscribers of the single train, and we weren't before. We really had to pull teeth to get the other two on board with it.
We did. You're right. Yeah. Because I think this year has been like a big eye-opening.
Especially given how busy all of you are individually.
True.
Yeah. It's a lot harder to put in like a year's worth of work on an album. Like, having an album and putting out 12 singles seems like so much less work than trying to, like, because having an album is like, I just need to hit this bullseye real quick.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, right? So we're still gonna the end game is an album.
Darts,
Yeah, the end game is an album at some point, but it's like, it's so much easier to promote a certain song, right? Because that song has a certain voice and it's aimed at a certain demographic of people sometimes, right? And sometimes each song will attract a different crowd, right? So it's a lot easier to promote it as one package and be like, okay, especially if you're doing ads and targeting, be like, okay, this one sounds a little bit like this. I mean, of course, we have a genre and it's pretty like uniform in some senses, but then there's other
each song
parts.
Has a story, right?
Exactly.
So
So I find it's been working for us. I mean, our streams have never been where they're at. I mean, mind you, we really started to double down on ads and stuff, and that's also really helped. But to understand our audience and to where to put what eggs in what basket, sort of thing, has really helped us to propel forward. It's been a lot different this year than compared to other years.
Yeah. No, you guys have been very. I mean, it's cool to see because you don't post a ton, but you do post very like in the pocket like stuff.
Right.
You know, compared to like people often comment like, how do you post so much? It's like, because I have no fucking idea what I'm doing.
Social media is tricky one.
I just keep on trying. That's all.
Yeah, the hardest one is when there's 4 of you, right? Because if you're a solo artist, I mean, fuck, like you have no excuses really.
No, you just live your life on the internet.
Exactly. I mean, to an extent, right? And I mean, technically, there isn't really an excuse for 4 guys either. Like realistically, like if you want to make it happen, you should make it happen. Yeah. But it's also just there's life.
Well, a lot of times it's like when you see a band running a social media, it's one of the dudes that's just running the social media.
Yeah.
You know? That's like it seems to break down that if you have like a 3 or 4 piece band, there's the guy that understands all the technology, the guy that like writes all the songs, and then the the guy that like gets the social media, and you see that division of labor in a lot of bands.
Yeah, you do.
It's like putting together like the perfect heist.
No, it's true. Although with songwriting, it's so equal.
Yeah.
I mean, well, because it's basically like
very well established pattern.
It's basically like someone comes with a song idea, and it's like, all right, here's my contribution, and then everyone just like, and just fucking
feeding frenzy.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like hungry hippos.
Yeah.
I don't know how that made any sense.
Yeah, okay.
It's the one where it's like
the marbles are the songs? Or the marble? What are the marbles in this metaphor?
They're like
I said it wasn't good.
Parts.
The parts.
I would say the marbles are the. Yeah.
Yeah, melody, beat, lyric.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Thank you. We'll go there. We'll go with that.
Story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's pretty much how that comes together for you guys. Somebody comes in. Usually, somebody different comes in with a different thing every time.
Yeah.
I have
like,
a marble.
Like for example, Brayson came in with Yearbook. That was basically fully fleshed out.
It was pretty much fully fleshed out.
And then we just did little nuances. I came in with End of the Night originally.
It was really just like a riff.
It was. I mean, it was just a riff and the chord progression. And I mean, the chord progression doesn't really change into the bridge, but it was literally just like a riff and a chord progression. Then we took that where it was. Steal My Hoodie came from a completely different song that wasn't even close to what it was originally. And we were slowing it down. Brayson started playing a bass synth, and because sometimes we jam and ideas come out of it as well, which hasn't been the case as much recently.
The only song that...
I think so.
Are you guys super meticulous with like recording all of your jams?
Yes.
I feel like Austin would be very on that.
Well, anytime we have ideas, it's just like, okay, let's record it.
Right.
Because we have the XR18, right? It's just a case of plugging the computer in.
Which is now always plugged in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's just, so that part of it, we've done that. We've been doing that for years. Like recording just, anytime there's a new idea, it's like, we have to remember this.
Right.
So it's just like, no matter how shitty it is, it's just like,
do it.
Record it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that process hasn't really changed that much. I would say the only thing that's changed is we're doing less jamming and more bringing
like focused,
ideas.
Intentional kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody comes up with their part, and then
sometimes we come up with each other's parts depending on what it is.
Yeah, because you guys, you're all multi-instrumentalists. So you just kind of bounce around and just kind of fill in for each other. Yeah. Like if somebody walked into a Royal Oak practice, you might all be at different stations.
I mean, that's what happened last at the last practice.
Yeah. And it's also fun because like there will be times where like one of you will go out of town and you'll still play a show, and there'll be like so I've seen shows where I think I've only ever seen you guys play as like a 4-piece. Like a couple times, but there's been at least 2 or 3 other shows where it's like it's an acoustic set. But
when I was in Europe.
But no Miles, or it's or Miles is out of town, so we're playing with like you guys did something else weird. I can't remember.
We did one. It was a private party, but we did one where Mike was out of town.
Yep.
And Miles hopped off drums and covered guitar.
Yeah.
And then we got our buddy Jarrett to cover drums.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then most recently we got his evil twin / cousin Chris to fill in.
Evil twin first.
Yeah. Evil twin.
Evil twin first. Yeah.
Evil twin. Yeah.
I saw that. It's funny because you two look so much alike. I was like, I saw that.
You guys do totally.
Well, especially when it's like a from the crowd photo of the stage, and I was like, it's like, I was like looking at your Instagram story of being like playing some like country show and like in like Merit or something, and then like the next story is like, and then Royal Oak at Uptown Live, and I was like, this feels like I'm being lied to.
We don't lie. We don't lie.
No, but I know for a fact as of today that Royal Oak will not lie or steal.
That's true.
No.
Yeah,
that's true.
Neither of those things.
All the time.
Royal Oak promise.
Yeah, that's the Royal Oak.
Lie or steal from you or to you.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Fox Cabaret this Friday.
Saturday.
It's Saturday? Oh
Saturday.
shit! I should double check my calendar. I'm playing drums for Emmeline that night. Opening. That'll be fun.
Hell yeah! It's gonna be a party. I'm so excited for this show.
I'm so excited to be able to do our set, and then not that I don't love playing, but like to be able to do our set and then get off and just have a drink and enjoy the free label.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean,
knowing it's a band that you know
exactly, and we've seen,
yeah,
and everything, and they're just so cool. Like they got such a vibe to them. They know to work a crowd. Like they're naturals. So it's gonna be.
You're gonna be blown away.
They don't suck, is what you're saying.
No, they got like choreography and.
It is a shame when you open for a band you've never met before and they in fact suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be good. It'll be good. We got the show coming out. We got music coming down the pipeline. There's some exciting things going on in the camp. That's for sure. We got to get a podcast episode going pretty quick.
We do steal.
We do steal?
What?
No! Promise broken.
As soon as you said in the camp, I was thinking about all the KOA campsites that we stole on tour.
Oh yeah, we stole camping on tour.
Which, I mean, like, we're just like parking our car and putting up a tent.
Let me explain, because stealing camping, well, just very quickly.
How do you steal camping,
so,
Miles?
So we were on tour, and we played Thunder Bay, and it was like 1 a.m., no hotels open, no vacancies,
and we're driving
no whatever. And we're driving to Toronto. Yeah. And we're like, okay, we'll find a campsite or something. And then we find this KOA. Have you heard of Campgrounds of America, it's called? That's what it stands for.
I used to stay at them. My mom used to take us camping in Washington.
And
that was like the go-to.
Yeah, so it's like a franchise
it's like
of
a Walmart
campsite.
kind of.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is very important to the story.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, because that's why we didn't feel bad about what we did, essentially. So we just rolled up to this campsite. It was like, oh, there's a credit card drop. You can drop your credit card in here, and then you can pay in the morning. We were like, absolutely fuck that, 100%.
Was this the tour where your like van blew up 15 times?
Yes.
Yeah, so you're probably all maxed out credit cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we basically
like this credit card's no good to them anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't take it.
We drive into the back. Find a good site, set up the tent. Car alarm went off how many times?
Oh, yeah, that was rough. Someone kept trying to, I don't know, like, I think our car alarm
was broken
or some
faulty,
shit. But someone kept trying to go in the car to grab backpacks or whatever, food, water.
It's like really flying under the radar here, guys. But then it was whatever, we get up early, pack up the tent, and we go out, and remember we're leaving, and we're just waving at everyone who works there, just bye. Like, so, we're like going right on the line. There's someone like driving the lawnmower. And there's like, and we're like, and then we're like, we did it.
Yeah, we got away with it. Smiling.
So we did that at 2 different KOAs, and that's the only time we've stolen.
Yeah.
You've only stolen land? It's time? I don't know. What is
I mean, we are half white, each of us.
That's true.
What is the
bad
steal
joke.
there? Yeah,
bad
really.
Joke. Very bad joke.
Yeah.
But we're half minorities as well, but still very bad joke.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's okay. That's fine.
Sometimes dark humor is,
We all have a little dark humor.
Miles is so squeaky clean, so it's nice to hear Miles do a little dark humor every now and then.
Am I that squeaky clean?
You're very squeaky clean. Brayson started the podcast by, and I was totally prepared to just call you each different names for the rest of the podcast, but you flipped it around right away.
Yeah, that's true.
You didn't even let him get away with you two having the wrong name for the whole podcast.
So that's how that's the squeaky
that's quite
clean.
Squeaky clean.
That is pretty squeaky clean.
Yeah.
I regret nothing.
Thanks for watching Just an Aridonis podcast. This episode is a bit longer than some of the others. That's fine.
I think it's great.
Okay, bye.